Do you think your dreams are impossible, that they're too far from reach, that the life you want is just that, a dream, rather than a reality? Well, the thing is, what we believe we can attract, what we see we can attract, what we think we can attract. Our mind is a very powerful tool, and with the law of attraction or the law of manifestation, we can create the life that we want, because the life you want is already yours. You just have to believe it. My name is Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach. I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse, and I also offer twin flame and spiritual guidance. This is it. Our minds are the creators of our lives. So if we think we can't, the Henry Ford quote, if you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. So in fact, if you think you can't, you're going to manifest the life that says you can't. If you think you can, yes, you fucking can. And that's the beauty of it. Like I told you guys this before. I used to be the most pessimistic person in the world. I suffered from depression and anxiety. I lived by Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And guess what? When I believed my life was miserable and that everything could go wrong, everything went wrong. Then I discovered the law of attraction. I read The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It was my Bible. And I was like, really? Is this real? Can this be real? But the law of attraction is actually a scientific law. It's like the law of gravity. It's inevitable. Like attracts like. So if you are literally in fear and doubt all the time, you're going to manifest what you're fearing and you're doubting. But if you live positively, change your mindset and start to visualize the life you want, you can actually create it. And it's magic. Like I remember when I first started using the law of attraction, I just, we're creatures of not believing in magic. But magic is very real. We just need to believe in it. And, I was like, nah. I wanted to believe, and I started being positive. I started using law of attraction, but I was still a skeptic. And a few things started to happen. And I remember, when I wanted to be a DJ, when I first started, to get the equipment, I was slowly building it up, and I had everything I needed. And I was like, geez, I need speakers. They're the most expensive thing now. I'm gonna get them eventually. But I just had it in my mind I needed speakers. And then one of the guys I was working with, I was a supervisor, he actually gave me a really nice, expensive speaker. I still have it. And I remember after him dropping it off, and I literally stared at that speaker for about an hour going, this shit is real. This shit is real. This is the first time I'd really seen kind of tangible proof of manifestation. And it was after that my whole life kind of came into flow. But it wasn't even that. Before I even realized I could instantly manifest, I've looked back on my life and I was like, oh my God, I manifested so much more, even though I wasn't aware that I manifested it. Like, there's an example, like when I was a kid, we lived in it's kind of old house. It was very damp. It was 2 bedrooms. So when I started to, become a young woman, my brother had to stay in my dad's room because, obviously I needed my privacy. And my dad was a carpenter handyman. He used to work in lots of places, lots of houses. And there was a new estate after being built in the town. And there was this big 4-bedroom houses. They were huge. They were so gorgeous. And I was helping him working one day. And I was walking around this house going, wow. There was the sitting room, conservatory, dining room, big massive kitchen. There was 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. I was like, wow, this place is like a mansion, beautiful gardens, everything. I was just like, wow. And I just walked around daydreaming going, wouldn't it be so good to live here? And obviously I did not believe that was possible. But guess what? We ended up living there. I manifested that just with my mind. And the house I'm living in now, my fucking forever home, I love this place. I manifested that too. I wanted a cottage in Cork, and I ended up getting a cottage in Cork. And everything about this house, there's so many little things that I had in the list in my mind of a place that I wanted for my home, and it worked. But and this was the 2 houses, that was unconscious. I wasn't deliberately manifesting at those stages. So we can do this even if we're not conscious of it. We just have to daydream. And I think that's the most beautiful part of it. Even instant manifestation. For example, I remember I was in this lovely by this river, and it was springtime, and there's loads of daffodils around, and I was just after, getting so in touch with nature that picking a plant was oh my God, I don't want to hurt the plant. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, I want to pick daffodils so I can bring them home, put them in a vase. And like, you know, I was like, oh, I don't want to pick the daffodils. But I walked over to the daffodils, and guess what? There was about 6 or 8 daffodils lying on the ground. Somebody was already after picking them for me. And I was like, oh, I have to go and keep these at home now. Do you know what I mean? So we can literally, like that, we can actually instantly manifest anything that we want. And it's so beautifully magical, the life that we can create, if we get out of our own thoughts, if we get out of that fear and doubt. We're bred to be negative. We're bred to live in fear, and we're bred to live in doubt. We were told that you have to do life this way, and there's no such thing as magic, or there's no, you know, don't reach for the stars because, you know, you're going to fail. But, and there's that other thing, like, you know, people are like, don't talk about it, because if we talk about it, we're going to jinx it. I'm like, no. When you talk something, you can talk it into life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, when you, for example, an affirmation, before I became a life coach, I was just like, how am I going to do that? Who am I to do this? And obviously I did a lot of training and stuff, but you have to embody it. So say to yourself, I am a successful businesswoman, or I am a successful life coach. And you talk it into manifestation. Instead of saying, I better not say this out loud in case I jinx it. Like that's something society has told us to do. Like, you know, don't talk about things because you're not going to have them. You know, and it's just like, no, talk about them, bring them to life. And like, we have to start being receptive to the signs. Like we're living in this bubble of darkness before we awaken, and we don't realize the guides that we're getting and the nudges that we're getting. But when we're on the right path, we get the confirmation that we're on the right path. So if you're seeing repeating numbers like 111, 1111, 222, etc., that means the universe is guiding you and protecting you all along the way, and they're telling you, you're doing this. This is right. If you're getting signs and synchronicities about your life purpose or your future relationship, take these as proof that what you're manifesting is coming into reality. This is the thing. And one thing we go into is the how. You know, we were afraid to dream big because we're like, how is that going to happen? That's fucking impossible. But you set the intention and the universe does the how. If we spend our time worrying about the how, we're actually putting an energy of desperation, which actually repels things from us. So you have to manifest, you visualize and then let it go. Let the universe do the how. And that's the beauty of it. And like the simple thing, right, of the words you use. So for example, if you say to yourself, I have no time, I'm so busy. The universe is literally saying, she wants to be busier. That's it. And so therefore they're going to give you more stuff to be busy. You know what I mean? That you'll have zero time. So if you change your wording and just say, I have all the time in the world to do all the things that I want, magically the universe will open up opportunities where you once saw doors. So it's that intention. Even the simple thing of setting an intention to the universe. I have loads of time. You know what I mean? And you will end up having loads of time. I want this in my life. Let it go. And then it comes in. You know, there's so much in our lives that we can instantly bring into fruition, instantly manifest. We just have to believe it in order to see it. And that's another thing. We're creatures of, I have to see it to believe it. Then it's never gonna happen. You need to believe it first. Believe it can happen. If you like, you know, I go back to the big butt, the big fucking butt. You know what I mean? I keep doing this myself. It's like, I want this butt. I want this butt. Can it even fucking happen? And we keep coming in with that, but we wonder. We do wonder, like, I've had people say this before, I don't believe in manifestation. And I was like, that's because you don't believe in manifestation. You cannot manifest if you don't believe in it. Your mind is the manifester. So if you're saying, I don't believe in magic, I don't believe in manifestation, you're never going to manifest anything because you're in doubt. Like, do the research. People are like thinking, oh, manifestation and law of attraction is woo-woo. It's not woo-woo. There's scientific proof as to how our mind can create our reality. Scientific proof. So for any skeptic out there, do the research and you'll find the proof. And then train your mind. And that's what it was. Like, I used the law of attraction, The Secret, as my Bible. You know, I was going through a really, really hard time and everything was going wrong in my life. And I was just like, I was not in a good place. But the only thing that made me smile was reading The Secret. So I was like, this has to be doing something right. If I'm able to smile when I can't smile, I'm crying most of the time. And if this is making me smile through the tears, there's something right here. So I started reading it over and over and over and over and over again. I trained my mind. And you know what's beautiful and a really good way to do this? What I did was I got the quotes out of The Secret, or any quote that I love quotes. Any quote that I came across that was positive, I wrote them down in a diary. I have about 4 notebooks from when I started manifesting with these quotes in them. And I found it so helpful. Every time we spiral back into doubt or fear, if you have a little notebook of quotes that you can just go to. And I used to reread these every time I'd have a relapse. And I'd be like, okay, I believe this. And it's so funny, like when you read those quotes when you first start manifesting and you're still in the darkness, say, you're in this energy of like fear, doubt, skepticism. And then like a year later, after using this method, you look back over them quotes and you're like, wow, I'm a different person now. And I actually believe these quotes now. Whereas when I first started reading them, I didn't believe them. This is the thing. Our unconscious mind believes everything we tell it. Everything we tell it. So if you say to yourself, I can't do this, or you're effectively saying you won't. But if you say you can't do something, your unconscious mind is going to believe that. If you say to yourself that you're a failure or you can't reach for the stars, your unconscious mind is going to believe that. So it's effectively lying to yourself, but you're lying to the lies in your mind. That's what you're doing. So start saying to yourself, I can do this. I can manifest this. I can create the life I want. Because this is it. We have the ability to create everything we want. And the thing is, the thing we want is already ours. The only thing in the way between the way of us and our manifestation is ourselves, is our own mind. We have to clear the way. Trust in the universe, trust in the process, and forget the how. And I just, I remember like when I started the law of attraction and the skeptics came back and was like, yeah, but it doesn't just happen. Like, you have to put action into it. And I was like, yeah, I know. But like when you change your mindset and your belief system, the universe is going to give you the opportunities to take the action to create the life you want. So even though I said like the universe does the how, they create the how. They create the way. You know what I mean? You're not going to sit there. Well, actually, do you know what? This is funny because, like, I'm all for the fact that you create as well. So there is movement there. You are making action. And like, there is times that I have literally sat there twiddling my thumbs and said, I want this. And then it fucking happens. You know what I mean? So it does actually work when you do nothing except visualize. So, that's like, so for the example of when I was a kid and we moved into that house, I didn't do anything. I literally just walked around the house going, wow, it's so nice to live in a fucking clean house. Like, a not damp house, a warm house, like, you know what I mean? And I didn't do anything. The universe created it so that landlord let my dad rent that house. I didn't do a thing. I just manifested. Same with the speaker, the same with this house. There is some action steps that you would take, but sometimes manifestation does happen just by visualization. So literally, daydreaming is your magic potion. It really is. All you have to do is visualize it. And one thing I love as well, feel it as if it's already yours. And there's this, so I can't think of it now. Well, for example, like, if you're training for a marathon, and if you're like an athlete and you're actually visualizing the actual process of running in that marathon and your body feels it, your body and your mind is going to believe that you're actually doing that. So even if you're sitting in the one spot, you can create it so that your body actually feels like it's going through that process. So it's the same with anything that you're visualizing. This is another thing, is gratitude. Say thank you. Be grateful as if it's already happened. So when you're visualizing, visualize it as if it's already happened and say thank you as if it's already happened. So what I do, I love this as well, it's a gratitude journal. So what I do is, you don't just say thank you for the things you already have. So for example, before I became a DJ, I was like, I had no equipment. And I was like, thank you for my new laptop. Thank you for my speakers. Thank you for my decks. This was way before I even got anything. And like, I remember when after I got the stuff, I was looking back over that gratitude journal and going, wow, that shit works. So say thank you. Thank you for that divine relationship. Thank you for me discovering my life purpose. All of it. Thank you for my successful business. Say all of it as if it's already happened. That's a great way to manifest quicker as well. But the most important thing is you have to believe in it. Believe it to see it. That's how you create. Get rid of those doubts, get rid of those fears. See it in your mind and you can see it in your life. As I said, the life you want is already yours. You just need to get out of that fear and get out of that doubt and believe it so that you can create it. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help in your path. Also, I'd like to mention that I'm doing a free webinar on Friday the 8th of August at 6 p.m. Ireland UK time. I will be speaking on healing after narcissistic abuse, inner child work, inner teen work, and shadow work. Hope to see you there. If you want any information, just comment below.